Our topic to be present is introduction of SMEs, types of SMEs financing, SMEs active in global markets, contribution SMEs in electronic commerce. Next is contribution SMEs to sustainable development, government actions, purpose of OECD, and lastly is conclusion for our topics.
SMEs are non-subsidiary independent business with fewer than a certain number of employees. This figure varies depending on the nation's economic data model. The most common top limit, as in the European Union, is 250 employees. Some countries, however, put the limit at 200 employees, whereas the US considers SME to be companies with fewer than 500 people. SMEs are also defined by their financial holdings. SMEs in the European Union must have an annual revenue of less than 40 million euro or a balance sheet value of less than 27 million.
Small and medium-sized business play an important role in economic growth in the OECD region as they are the source of majority of new jobs. SMEs make up more than 95% of OECD business, accounting for 60% to 70% of employment in most countries. The importance of SMEs in the company is growing as larger companies shrink and outsource more services. Only about half of small business survive for more than 5 years, and only a small percentage of those survive to become part of the core group of high-performing business that drive industrial innovation capabilities. The service industry, which now includes part of economic activity and employment in OECD countries, employs the majority of SME workers. In many OECD nations, SMEs account for a large percentage of manufacturing enterprises and employ at least half of workforce. In technology-intensive areas like ICT and biotechnology, small business are becoming more common. The significant strategic business service sector, which includes services related to computer software and information processing, research and development, marketing, company organization, and human resource development, is dominated by SMEs. The fact that the majority firm size in strategic business services is a sample of the average firm size in manufacturing or the economy as a whole shows the significance of SMEs in this industry.
Entrepreneurship is important because they drive business dynamics such as company formation, expansion, contraction, and death, as well as fueling general economic growth. Countries' social, cultural, and political characteristics determine the availability of entrepreneurial possibilities, including the degree of risk-taking and resource mobility. Entrepreneurship also discourages the development of new ventures or the extensions of current activities such as risk-averse education and training, along with legislation and institutional barriers. Entrepreneurship has the potential to influence the development of firm linkage such as culture, social and intellectual capital, and local networking. Clustering can be incredibly useful to smaller business which, because of their size, cannot afford in-house service such as training, research, or marketing. And clustering can produce benefits that gradually build the group's competitive advantage and enable them to compete globally. Entrepreneurship exists to promote the growth of women-owned business as well as increase understanding and statistics about female entrepreneurship and its role in society. The number of female entrepreneurs is increasing in several OECD nations. Women-owned business currently account for 1/4 to 1/3 of the global business population. Smaller firms are innovative because they can create or re-engineering products or services to meet new market demands, introducing new organizational approach to enhance productivity or developing new technique to expand sales. Smaller firms also can be creativity, competition, risk-taking, and adequate return to investment are inimical to innovative behavior by smaller enterprises. They also tend to be technology-based and conduct R&D, research and development. They found mostly in a knowledge-intensive sector and in regions characterized by intense economic activity and clustering. These fast growers are usually integrated into formal and informal network of firms. Last, high growth SME play a pioneering role in developing new product and market in sectors such as ICT and biotechnology and are at the cutting edge of the new economy.
What type of SME financing is needed? Funding gaps for smaller firms are a major barrier to growth. Because bank and traditional lending institutions are opposite to risk-scale projects, there is a wide disparity in the profitability, survival and development of SME compared to bigger business, which makes it difficult to secure funding. Furthermore, owners and managers of smaller enterprises sometimes lack of commercial expertise and or a track record, since entrepreneur SME work in context of high complexity and fast change and rely primarily on intangible assets. Private equity market expansion is considerably boosting access to venture capital for SME, although there are significant disparities among nations. Venture capitalists offer their portfolio firm more than just stock money. They also provide managerial support, performance monitoring, and phase infusion of extra risk capital as the business grows. Specialized funds that generate money from a variety of sources, including private people, corporation, government agency, pension funds, bank, and insurance companies, endowment, and foundation, can provide venture capital. Alternatively, it might be given directly by the same group of investors. The enterprise phase and industrial sector to which venture investment is directed, as well as the quality of distribution system, are more crucial than the level of funding. A well-functioning venture capital market is concerned not only with finance, but also with the high-quality management of the information and agency issues that occur when investor, entrepreneur, and funder attempt to understand each other and collaborate in the launch of hazardous enterprise. Fostering a sufficient flow of finance for small business is a critical step towards increasing entrepreneurship and developing a thriving economy. Banks are SME active in global market. Smaller enterprises have always focused on domestic markets, and many will do so in the future. Extremely 25% of manufacturing SME are currently internationally competitive, and this percentage is expected to grow. 1/5 of manufacturing SME derive between 10% and 40% of their revenue from cross-border activities. At the moment, SME account for between 25% and 35% of global manufacturing export and a tiny fraction of foreign direct investment. They are also expanding faster than their domestic counterpart. SME may combine the benefits of smaller scale and more flexibility with economies of scale and scope in bigger markets such as regional, national, and global. SME can better respond to changing market conditions, growing client preference, and shorter product life cycle by customizing and differentiating their item. Small business may now reach out to global partners more easily because of new communication options. As a result, SMEs are increasingly participating in worldwide strategic alliances and joint ventures, both individual and in group. Larger international corporations are cooperating with smaller enterprises that have technical advantage to save money on R&D, shorten the lead time for new goods and service, expanding markets. In addition, SMEs are reaching out across borders to build multinational alliances and partnerships comprised of global small enterprises. However, SMEs are frequently prevented from going worldwide due to their size. Through government export financing and promotion organization, SME exporters may access a comprehensive range of financial and risk management services such as insurance, bank guarantee, and counseling. Support is increasingly being offered to assist smaller business in participating in overseas exhibits and trade fairs, preparing marketing material in other languages, and distributing ads abroad. Government should prioritize information as a public good.
The advantages of electronic commerce. First, it can expand the new market for small firms without having to spend a large investment on marketing and advertising to gain a sales and profit. Second, it enhances the internet technology advancement, which make the business more easier in managing business, such as direct connection between buyers and sellers, making transactions via online banking, and reduce time business operation in organizing order and delivery. Third, majority people and small firms influence to operate business in electronic marketplace. This shown the SMEs achievement and increase the number of entrepreneurs. However, there are disadvantages to SMEs adoption of electronic commerce. First, a lack of information due to complex of electronic system. The small new entrepreneur and small firms need to figure out the features of e-commerce platform and how to use it for business activities. Second, a lack of skills and technique in develop the applicable e-commerce strategy to attract the customers and boost sales. Lastly, a lack of customers' trust and confidence in business activities such as authentication and certification of the product and sellers, data security, and confidentiality. The advantages of contribution SMEs to sustainable development. First, it can reducing the environmental pollution, climate change, and increase the energy through the roles to improve industry's environmental performance, such as change the business travel to meeting via Skype or Google Meet. Second, it can fulfill the customer needs in the production and selling of environmental goods and services, because to get the new customer is limited due to size and resources, and the small firms need to hard work to attract the customer by determining the customer needs to prevent the large capital expenditure and wasted the resources in production. Third, adaptation to technology. The government and stakeholders can find, inform, and impress the small firm easily by using the internet, social media, and other platforms. However, there are disadvantages of contribution SMEs to sustainable development. First, the small firms are lack of awareness of environmental externalities and government control than the large firm, because the government more concerned and enacted the legislation imposing the cost of externalities on the producer of large firms due to causes the pollution. Second, it needs fewer resources to invest in environmental improvement and management tools to make the business and operations more sustainable. Lastly, it needs more government environmental strategy to raise the awareness in small firms of the importance of firm-level environmental strategy.
For this session, I will be talking about the Government Initiative for Small Medium Enterprise (SME). The main action taken by the government is promoting all entrepreneur and facilitate firm startup and expansion. Other than that, fostering business angel network which bring together small companies and prospective investor. Next, the government also help to reduce the regulatory burden, which is one of the most powerful stimulants to entrepreneur. Other than that, promote enterprise cluster made by the government could help enhance the SME performance as it can attain the advantage of a larger firm while retaining the benefit of specialization and flexibility of a SME. Now, let's move on to the next topic, which is the purpose of OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The main purpose of OECD is to improve global economy and promote world trade. Besides that, the organization is also in charge of discussing the SME performance and policy, as well as implement the best policy and practice that could help SME. Lastly, the function of OECD is to expand the collection data and improve SME statistics.
Small and medium-sized company SME account have more than 94% of firms and 60% to 70% of employment in OECD economies, and they are all produce a considerable percentage of new jobs. They have particular strength and limitation that may need special policy response. However, many of the traditional difficulties facing SME, for example, lack of finance, difficulty in applying technology, limited management competency, low productivity and regulatory restriction. Small business must improve their abilities such as managerial, information gathering and technological foundation. Government also must increase SME access to financing, information infrastructure and international market. A focus is to create legislative, legal and financial framework that encourage entrepreneurship and small business to start up and grow. The quickest way to a thriving SME sector may be fostering public-private partnerships, small firm network and cluster. Clustering allows for the exchange of the individual and the diffusion of technology as well as the creation of new opportunities for efficiency benefits. Next, to support small firm partnerships, government policy initiatives should include regional and local elements that influence entrepreneurship and build on this unique characteristic. Local institution, industry groupings and inter-firm links should be used by policy to build and enhance the micro-level relationship that may support global competitiveness. To tackle the difficulty posed by globalizing economies, SME strategy must build on local assets and handle the changing dynamic of entrepreneurship and small firm clusters.